Hey there, Austin Nestle here. Check out this interview I did with a great entrepreneur, Brad Lea. This is our highest rated podcast that I've ever done because it breaks down so much of our methodology. This has reached thousands and thousands of business owners all across the globe. So many that have gone back and listened to it a second time because there's so much gold, so much value in here. And Brad even shares how he is going to take these strategies and help add tens, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue to his own businesses. So check it out. This will be well worth your time to show you the better, simpler way to run and grow your business, a way to turn your business into a consistent, predictable, cash-producing machine, leveraging systems in your team and the right strategy. So this is going to be eye-opening for you and really reveal so much of our 2X methodology, and we'll simplify it down for exactly what you need to know. So take some time, take a step back from your day-to-day grind and listen to this podcast because it'll shift your perspective and show you a better, simpler way to break through to the next level. Check it out right now.
What it is, Brad Lea back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, man, I got Austin Nestle. What's going on, Austin?
What's up, Brad? Good to be here. Let's drop some bombs.
Hey, man, I'm glad that you are here. Looking at this bio of yours, dude, first of all, your picture, what are you, an Abercrombie Fitch model or something?
Man, you got to get some good photographers on your team. They can do some magic.
If you guys ain't following Austin, go to Instagram, check him out at Netzley, Netzley. Frickin' like a Abercrombie Fitch model, frickin' owns One Pursuit Investments or the founder of it. You got a book out, big bestseller, 27-time bestseller.
This thing moved a lot of copies. That was a different lifetime ago.
It just keeps chart topping. Guys,
all across the world.
Called Make Money, Live Wealthy. That's why, dude. It's the title, dude. Like if I saw that book on a shelf, I'd probably want to buy it.
It helped a couple people.
So, dude, real successful guy. Had him come in here. I wanted to talk to him. He had 81 G's in debt, middle class mindset, ended up richy rich. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
We're headed towards that, man.
Well, see, again, that's how you know when people are rich because they never say they're rich. They just the people always ask me. I'm like, dude, I'm getting there. People always say, "What are you doing?" I'm like, dude, trying to make a living.
Let's do it.
But very successful. Age 27, it says you retired from corporate America to travel the world and scale your automated stock trading business while also doing what he's most passionate about, which is helping others take their money and their mindset to the next level. So basically, you kind of, how old are you, first of all?
33 now.
33. See, so I got underwear older than that. You did what I did on accident. I freaking literally helped some dude change his life. And I got addicted to it. And it sounds like by your story, that's kind of what happened to you. You started helping people change their ways and it changed their, situation and frickin' you got hooked, didn't you?
Well, but even before that, I was doing some awesome things, but didn't have that. And I felt this missing void that was burning so bad that I quit it. I was making six figures in the corporate world, loved that, but I was missing that contribution piece.
Yeah.
Found the path of helping other people. Because look, there's better businesses that I could do to make a lot of money. But what I'm doing now gets me fired up, man.
And it helps other people at the same time.
Every day we're changing lives. That's one of our core values.
Hey, and that's technically what it's all about. That's how some people I know make a lot of money, but they're empty inside, man. They're empty inside. That's why people say, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, first of all, I disagree. I think it can, but it doesn't mean you're going to be happy. Money doesn't mean you're going to be happy. Like if money can buy happiness, but you don't know where to shop, you're still unhappy.
Right.
But what do you think about money? Can money buy happiness? Do you think?
I think it can. Like it's the best tool in the world. That's why we got to make a lot of it. Especially in the world that we're going to. I'm not a big futurist and whatnot, but the more I learn about it, the more it's like, let's make some money now because the opportunities that are to come up to enhance that happiness and just give you a whole world of opportunity is going to just exponentially grow, in my opinion. I think if you're happy now, and look, if you're in a horrible situation, and homeless, like whatever, like just a horrible situation, you can't necessarily be that happy now. But if you're like trying to get started and you're not, rich yet or whatever, and you're happy and you're enjoying that process, you're going to be happy when you're at the next level. But we got a lot of people that I see that 5X their business, but they're still not happy, right? So you got to choose to be happy wherever you're at, in my opinion.
Dude, right there. First bomb of the episode. That's damn straight the truth. You guys better freaking rewind that 10 seconds and listen to it again. Now, what was interesting, we're talking to the green room, and your website scale2x.com is a business that you have where you help individuals, companies, organizations systematize and really streamline their organization. Yep. Now that's fascinating to me, only because, dude, everybody keeps saying, why have you never marketed Lightspeed? Because we've never really marketed Lightspeed. And I keep saying one thing, because I don't want to scale chaos.
Dude, you can't scale what's broken, man.
Right.
Everybody's trying to do it every day.
I know, but because we're successful, everybody thinks, oh, it must be working. It's successful. Well, dude, it's successful because it's a kick-ass product. And when people realize it, word of mouth just keeps selling it. But at the end of the day, man, my processes and systems, I'm almost where I want to be. I'm glad you're here because I want to talk about it. But for a long time, dude, it was chaos. The fact that we delivered and did what we did was only because we had people capable of putting out fires, but you can't scale that.
Yeah. You can't muscle, 5 times bigger than what you are now.
Yeah. So business owners, if you're out there listening and you think to yourself, well, shit, I'm doing it right now. Well, so was I, and so am I technically. But that doesn't mean you can scale it. It means that you're damn good at what you do. You're a problem solver and you're getting it done. But if you want to be $1 billion company or even $100 million company, you got to have systems and processes. Yep. I said this the other day, and I said, man, I got to say this on a podcast. So here's the podcast I'm going to say it on. Nobody has become a billionaire by themselves. Do you know that?
Right.
Show me anybody. And again, I may be wrong because I didn't fucking search the internet. But
let's take out the people that inherit that.
No. Even if you inherit it, then you didn't become a billionaire by yourself. Someone gave it to you. Right. So my point is nobody became a billionaire by themselves, because if someone says, hey, this guy's self-made, okay, so nobody helped him. It's bullshit. Yeah. Nobody became a billionaire by themselves. I don't think it exists. I may be wrong, but that's my mindset, which is, dude, you can't do it alone. And if you can't do it alone, that means you need people. And if you need people, whether it's customers you need or help, whatever it is you need, well, then how do you communicate and organize in an efficient way to keep the whole flow of particles or things that need to happen? Because one little breakdown and you're screwed, or you're doing 17 things when it could have been one. You're spending 10 times the money to get it done. Yep. Amen. And you help people specialize. You specialize in going in and showing people how to organize and streamline their organization based on processes and systems.
Primarily. What we want to do is turn a business into being a machine. And if it's a machine, then we're looking at it from the top down, 30,000 foot view. We see it in the form of systems and numbers. And if we see it in the form of that, we can very clearly identify where the actual problem is, because people are working their butts off. Yeah, and they're often working on the wrong problems because they think it's one thing, but if we look at it, we can identify that it's actually somewhere else. And here's what I found. Like, I've now worked with hundreds of businesses directly, hundreds of entrepreneurs, is there's an order to things. Like, if you start and go and focus on your Instagram profile and your marketing and your positioning and whatnot, but you don't have a kick-ass product, we're going out of order. Or if you, let's use the marketing example again. If you go out and get a bunch of leads, but you got a crappy sales conversion, then again, we're going out of order. So what we try to do is make things as simple as humanly possible. Break things down for what matters, what doesn't. Guess what? Most stuff fits in the what doesn't bucket, right? And we're looking at the simplest path. But where we start with is understanding what people want. Because people come to us and they'll tell us, they got a couple daughters, they got kids at home, they want to pick them up. They don't want to be working 60 hours a week. And they don't necessarily, a lot of people that come to us, they don't want to make $10 million necessarily. They just want to have good living. They just want to get to the next level and have a little bit of comfort. So they tell us that, and then we look at the way that they're designing their business, and their business is not a business. It's a job. It's designed around them, which means that they can never have the true freedom, and it means they can never, if they want to get past a couple $100,000 in personal income, they can't get there just because they don't have a scalable model. So we've got to take a different approach, cut out as much as we can. It's painful when we do this, but as soon as we tell entrepreneurs that, they know it, and you can just see their shoulders drop, and they instantly have this cloud. I'm looking at this big old, nuke cloud behind you. They just have this like removed from them. Now we've got clarity and we've got a real simple actionable plan. We can just crush it one system at a time. Then we focus on things. But the thing about systems is like everything in your business is a system.
So for the bomb squad, that's my listeners.
Yeah.
They all own businesses, let's say.
Okay.
They want to get something systematized. What's the order of things?
So from a high level, let's break things down. We got a business. Let's just use a digital agency.
Use Lightspeed.
Lightspeed, perfect. So Lightspeed has, let's call it 3 simple steps to the business. We've got marketing, okay? So we've got lead gen.
Mm-hmm.
Second step is we've got sales, conversion, and then we've got fulfillment. All right, where most people are looking at is they're like, I just need more leads. If I just get more exposure, if I just get on Brad Lea's podcast, if I just X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna be good. So they're focused on marketing first. Second one that they go to is, man, I just need to learn about sales. Let me call Grant. Let me figure out this sales thing. So they focus on that. And then they start to focus on fulfillment and actually having a very specific avatar and audience that they want to go after, a good delivery, and most importantly, delivery that doesn't need them. Because what most people do is they'll go out there, they'll do some marketing, they'll get a couple clients or a couple customers, but then as soon as they do that, boom, they have to go into fulfillment. And guess what? That takes the eye off the ball on the marketing, and now we're on this teeter-totter, right? There's no consistency there.
Yep.
So what we do is we start with the end. We start with fulfillment, and specifically this case, all right? Then we go into sales conversions, because easiest lever that we can do is just look at the audience that you already got and just convert it in a better way. And then we go to marketing third. So let me do some simple math here. When I say that we're looking at fulfillment, what we're looking to do is one of the first conversations that we have is how can we increase LTV, which is lifetime value. Let's say right now for Lightspeed, do you know the lifetime value of an average customer?
No.
So let's say that I'm just gonna make up a number that it's $4,000 per customer. That means however the different ways that you acquire a customer, it's going to be worth $4,000. One of the first conversations that we have is, hey, how can we, through keeping them longer, through having them pay more, through upselling them to different services, through selling them other different stuff, how can we get that from $4,000 up to $20,000? That means we got the same sales conversions, we've got the same number of leads coming in, but instead of getting $4,000 out of them, we're getting $20,000 out of them. What do you think that'd do to our bottom line? What do you think that'd do to the health of our business? That's one lever. Right? So that's one thing with fulfillment. But on the system side, what we're looking to do is to make sure, okay, hey, can we make the Lightspeed customers happier? Can we keep them, and most importantly, keep them so that it needs no key leader, especially you, right? If you come in and you give them some value or you have a one-on-one call with them, whatever, it's only because you want to and because you want to add value, not because you need to. So if we can do that, where the fulfillment is actually scalable, now we can start to move. Now we can start to really focus consistently on sales and marketing.
Yeah, well, now you have a business.
Now you have a business.
Because before, what people don't understand is, look, a lot of people think they own a business when the business owns them.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you're tied to your business and if you leave, the business goes away, well, then you don't have a business. A business has you.
Yeah.
See the difference?
Yep.
So a lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
And that's a key thing. So again, if you have a business and it's successful, but you're there a lot and you're missing your family and your birthdays and your soccer games and your life, one day you're going to wake up old, successful, tired, and alone.
But is that successful?
No, it is not.
No.
So that's why I'm saying, like, everybody listening to this should get an expert like you or you directly, seeing how they're listening to you. So I'm wanting the point to get across that, look, a lot of people out there have a business. Yep. They're making good money. Yep. They're driving nice cars. They're living in nice houses, but their business owns them. They're just being well paid. But when you turn it around and start diving into what you're talking about, now you have a business. And then you own the business. And that's what you really want to get to, is to where, look, your business does as good or better if you never show up.
Yep.
And the only way to do that is to hire an expert like you or figure it out. But I've been doing it for 20 years and it's freaking when you're in the game, it's hard to figure out these little systems and processes that don't require you.
Yep.
Because especially if you're the founder.
Yep.
Like, dude, if I could be every position at this company, I'd be a trillionaire. I'd be the world's first trillionaire. Dude, I'm serious. It's like every position other than, graphic artist, shit like that. I don't know how to do all that, but every salesperson, if every salesperson here was me, we'd be 100 times bigger.
So you know what your job is as CEO?
What?
Is to put the systems and processes and tools and
place.
training in place
And see,
so that
Yeah.
people that aren't Brad Lea, that don't have your experience, are just as good, if not better. That's
Right.
your job as CEO.
And it took me 20, well, I'd say 18 years, because I've been trying for the last year and a half, 2 years,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm getting tired of doing everything like this.
Yeah.
I need systems and processes. So I'm almost there, but I want to talk to you offline one of these days.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll just freaking hire you to come in here and triple scale this one. But we're not 6 figures. We're way past 6 figures.
We've got some companies that are above 100 million.
But you do help, smaller companies.
We work primarily with 6 and low 7 figures. That's our bread and butter. It's so easy for us to double these businesses.
Yeah, so I'm 8 figures,
Yeah.
and I want to be 9 figures, and I'm not getting there without these damn systems. And one thing I learned over my life is I should have sought counsel and mentoring earlier and faster. I didn't. I had to figure it all out myself. I was too stupid to freaking find guys like you and say, hey, just show me how to do it. I'd be like, I'll figure it out. Can't be that freaking hard.
Yeah.
But dude, with life and fires and shit you got to deal with, it does eventually drag on to where, dude, it's been 20 years. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I've got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm shutting off, clear my calendar for the next 2 weeks. I'm shutting my door, and I'm going to invent every damn process and policy and freaking form that gets filled out all the way through every single department here. I've never done it, even though I've intended to do it 100 times.
You know the easier way to do it?
Yeah, call you. And I should have. I'm telling you, I should have. Because guess what? The money I've lost by not doing it is 20 times what you would charge me. And I don't even know what your price is, but you couldn't charge me enough to get back what I've lost by not paying you.
And that's what pains me, that people have to wait 20 years to learn that.
Yeah,
Because
well,
like when people are kind of in that survival mentality, and to the outside they're successful, but I think a lot of people that are making good money, that have the nice car, I think they've got in the back of their mind that they feel kind of like a fraud, because even though they've got,
it's called imposter syndrome.
imposter syndrome, exactly. They've got a $2 or $5 million business, or maybe it's only 500K, whatever. But if you look at the actual take home, they could even sometimes make more money in the corporate world than they are now. So they feel like a fraud in some ways. So, but what I was going to say is, besides hiring me, is you got to create a culture of systems. Everybody on the team needs to love systems inside and out just as much as you do, right? And if you do that, then you don't have to take 2 weeks and create every system and process. You've got a whole team. You got a whole army that's doing this.
You let
And
them
it has-
invent their own?
Oh yeah. You just
Well, what
give
if
them
they're
the
dumb?
frameworks. McDonald's can hire somebody off the street to execute one of their simple systems. People could be dumb, flat out dumb.
I'm talking about, do you let them think up the system?
They're already doing all the work. So they're already doing the system. Anybody on your team that's getting paid right now, they're already doing everything that needs to happen. You just need to organize it.
But what if they don't know how?
That's your job, is to teach them. My job is to come in and teach them.
Yeah, well, again, I give up. I quit. I ain't doing it. I need someone like you to come in and do it for me.
Definitely. But my biggest job, if that happens and when that happens, is to train you and get in the whole DNA of the company that nothing happens without a system. Like literally nothing. Because what we've got to do, like, look, you guys are solving.
Dude, see, that to me, that's a dream come true.
That's what we do. That's what we do, is we build machines. And
So how did you learn this stuff?
Well, it's come full circle, because I went to school as a mechanical engineer, and we build machines, and we build stuff. And I knew I didn't want to be an actual hands-on mechanical engineer. I wanted the hardest thing that I could learn that was going to give me a good foundation to get into business. So in my mind at the time, I wanted to be the CEO of a large corporation. My whole family grew up in corporate world. I literally knew zero entrepreneurs until I was like, 20 something, 22 or whatever, that I finally started learning about the thing called entrepreneurship. So anyhow, I had in my mind that I wanted to be a CEO of a large company. So mechanical engineering degree, I was going to go and work for a company that was going to put me in sales, give me a little of experience there, go back and get my MBA after 2 years. And that was my trifecta with a lot of hard work that I was going to fly up the corporate ladder. Started down that path, thought it was a great strategy, then learned I was in a system. And I loved the company. I worked for a great company. I got paid 6 figures. I was, 22 years old, making more than my mom and dad, had ever made. And, everything was good, but I was missing something, and also in a system. And so started my first business on the side. I was in sales and able to handle it in 2 or 4 hours a day. Started golfing every day on this beautiful, beautiful golf course in Jacksonville, Florida, TPC Sawgrass. I learned I hate golf. And I was like, dude, what am I doing? Like, this sucks. I felt like I wasn't growing, wasn't learning. And for me, like, if I'm not learning and not growing, like, it sounds kind of morbid, but I feel like I'm dying. So I wanted to do something to include my brain a little bit more. Started day trading, and that led to my first business, led to some success, and got me past a lot of the money mindset and money worries, that now I had freedom that I could actually really, and I didn't need this story, but I needed the story at that time, that now I was ready to create, and I was ready to contribute, and I was ready to do something else and do it on my own. But it took me, dude, I started making good money on the side, more money than I was making in my 6-figure job from my automated business, from this algo I created. And it took me 2 years to have the confidence to quit. And I had some health issues at the time and whatnot. But still 2 years, that's how much I had to change my middle-class mindset and my lack of confidence and whatnot, even after I was making money.
So middle-class mindset, describe one?
One of such fear, one of scarcity, one of thinking of really what's the worst case scenario instead of betting on yourself, really. Just again, so many negative things coming up. But like every time, like, man, you talked about we talked about in the green room, saving money. Should you do it? Man, I would save every single penny. I would, look at saving 7 cents between 2 different I remember being in Houston, Texas. That's where I lived after college. I remember being there, and I was like looking at the different 8 style of beans in this grocery, and like I picked the one that was 7 cents, and I was like, man, 7 cents cheaper. I was like, am I serious right now? That like I literally spent 30 seconds looking at all these different cans. It doesn't sound like a long time, but if you're like 30 seconds is a long time to just be looking at to save 7 freaking cents. That was my mentality, is to save and save and save, and just pinch pennies and not.
Where'd you get that mentality?
Growing up,
just taught.
We didn't have a ton of money growing up, and there was
so you
stress.
were taught.
I was taught, yeah.
See, another people don't understand. Parents screw us up. Everyone's like, oh, dude, that's my mom, that's my dad. Don't talk about them, dude. Our parents screw us up. Yeah. Their parents screwed them up. Yeah. And when they say, well, what makes them screwed up? I'm talking about, like, look, if you wanted to be a millionaire and you never made it, and the reason why is your parents taught you that, rich people are bad. Yeah. And subconsciously you believe that all your life, you're not going to get rich. Yeah. Your human nature and instinct will avoid every opportunity and situation to keep you broke, because you believe rich people are bad. And even though you want to be rich, you'll never get rich because your mind won't let you. Yep. Do you agree with that?
100%. And it's hard to push against that.
It's
though you're like, no, you don't agree with it, you're still hearing it. And hearing it and feeling it and feeling it. It's ingrained in you after years.
You know why they call it a subconscious mind?
Why is that?
Because it's your conscious level, which means you don't even know what the subconscious mind thinks. Yeah. It's just recording. And if your mom told you your whole life, even though she's the sweetest mom and she, treated your wounds and showed you all the love and support and, bought you all the best gifts, if she taught you that, this is something you should believe, and you grew up hearing it and learning it, you end up believing it. Well, the belief that you have causes the actions and the thoughts that you have. So if I believe I'm going to die if I leave this room, dude, I'm not going to leave this room, and I'll be a nutcase. Everyone will be like, dude, he's a nutcase. He won't leave the room. He thinks he's going to die, which is obviously foolish. But if that's what I believe, promise you, dude, you ain't getting me out of this room without a fight. And if it's on a subconscious level, I won't know why I won't leave the room. I just don't want to.
Yep.
So it's crazy, man. That's a middle class mindset for sure.
Yep.
Fear, scarcity, worst case scenario mindset. Now, again, I know what you mean by this, but I have a worst case scenario, which I like to show people because for me, it works like wonders. And that is me always saying, what's the worst that can happen? Like people say, dude, you want to make that investment? I think I'm going to. Oh, dude, that takes balls.
Yeah.
Well, what's the worst that can happen? I lose 50 grand.
Yeah.
That's the worst that can happen.
That's a great investment question. What's the worst that can happen? Can you live with that? Okay, now let's build from there.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's how I do it. So like people say, how do you do these things you do? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you got some sort of phobia? Like, what do you mean? All I did is quit my job. Like people say, oh my God, how'd you start Lightspeed? You know, I thought I wanted to start a business, so I quit my job and started the business. Oh my God. Dude, that's so inspiring. I'm thinking, what? I quit a job I didn't want. Why is that such balls? Why is that encouragement? Right. Why is that inspirational? I quit a job I didn't want. Have you ever quit a job you didn't want?
I sure did.
Oh my God, dude, how did you do that?
Dude.
Tell me how you did that. I could never do something like that. No, dude, it's a mindset. I didn't want the job. It was easy to quit. The reason why you think it's amazing, if you do, is because you would never quit a job. Why? It's something you believe. It's something in your head, man. And that's why you believe what you believe. And that's why you think I'm ballsy or you're ballsy. That's why they think you're ballsy for quitting your job. From our perspective, it wasn't a hard thing to do. Was it hard for you?
It took me 2 years to actually make that decision. It was hard.
See, that's just crazy because, dude, it didn't take me nothing. I just quit. Like,
yeah.
I think something's broken in my head where I don't realize I'm supposed to be afraid here.
Yeah. So
isn't that weird?
Well, weird is just different. So for me, that is weird. What was I going to mention?
Took you 2 years.
No, opportunity cost. So your mind at that time was looking at opportunity cost of keeping this job that you didn't like. Me, on the other hand, it was good and I liked it, but it wasn't great. And I didn't have that thought of the opportunity cost. Dude, it took me you know how many millions of dollars that cost me by waiting that long? But I wasn't thinking of that at the time. I didn't have that mindset, that mentality.
No, you were fearing what would happen if you lost.
Exactly. I was fearing that one manager that said, you'll be back.
Yeah, or your parents. Like, dude, you want to keep your job, son.
Dude,
Austin,
parents,
don't go crazy.
Dude, you should have seen my parents' faces.
What'd they tell you?
So I had already had, again, a multi-six-figure business on the side. Automated, was making, and I told my parents, I told my whole family, actually, quick little story. We were in Atlanta, Georgia. We had all got together. We were all living along the East Coast, and we got together. It was like February 1st, and we weren't able to meet up for Christmas that year for whatever reason. Well, half of us were, but not the entire family. So we got together and we were exchanging gifts outside behind this elementary school. And I picked up this box and I said, guys, I have one last gift. And I said, and everybody's sitting down. It was like kind of awkward, you know. And I said, it's not a gift, but I'm quitting my job. And like my dad's face, his jaw, literally, like straight up open. He was like shocked. My sister's face like looked scared. One sister like covered her mouth like she was so scared. And everybody was just like shocked. And then my mom stood up and she's just like, ah! Like she like shrieked with excitement, half fear, half excitement. But like everybody's faces were just priceless. She had no idea what I was doing. She didn't care. She was going to support me regardless. But like everybody was blown away. And this was after, again, I was making some freaking good money. It's just because it's so new to them. And they saw.
And they sound somewhat conservative.
So conservative.
Where was this?
This was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a conservative family with like good parents and, you know.
Oh, great parents.
Yeah. See, so there's a lot of people out there that ultimately have, you know, shitty parents or shitty family life, and they want to say, well, that's how you did it, dude. You had a good family.
Yeah.
No, dude, I've seen people with good families go down the toilet, and I've seen people with shit families climb to the top of the ladders.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where you're from, I believe.
Yep.
You know, it does give you an advantage, however.
I don't know.
In certain cases, it gives, like, in other words, like, sometimes people talk shit about rich kids. Oh, well, his daddy gave him everything. Well, who cares? Like, I wish my daddy gave me everything.
Yeah.
Now, when people say, well, why? You learned, dude, all I'm trying to do is become a billionaire. Why? I have my reasons, but that's the bottom line. I want to be a billionaire. Okay, good. So I'm on my way. If someone came up right now and said, Brad, you can have $1 billion. I don't have any stupid beliefs that, no, I need to earn it myself. Dude, you give me $1 billion, I'm done. You can have my company. You can have everything physically that you want. I'm done. All I want is the $1 billion. Give me the $1 billion. I'm done. I have nothing left to prove. And when someone says, oh, well, someone had to give it to you. So what? That's all I want is my $1 billion, right? So now people come on the podcast. I say, let me ask you a question. Would you rather earn 20 million or be given 100 million? And people will answer it a lot. I'd rather earn 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you rather earn 20 or be given 100?
Be given 100.
Exactly.
And for the
it's because it's the smart thing to do.
It's the smart thing, but also, like, I just think of, like, what I could do with 100 million. Like, the whole world wants me to take 100 million and not the 20 million. You know, It's stupid. It would be stupid to consider that.
I'll bet you 80% of my guests, successful guests, will say 20. Do you know why? Because they believe if you didn't work for it, it's not worth anything. Yeah. Now, think back in when we were kids. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, exactly.
So have I.
Yeah.
I was raised that way. Yeah. You got to work for it. Nothing comes free. You know, that's not fair. You have to be fair. Why do you have to be fair? Like, dude, if I can find an advantage in the marketplace, I want to take the advantage, don't I? Hiring you is an advantage. Yep. Oh, that's not fair. You can't hire that guy to come in here and show you how to do it. Who said that ain't fair? And if it isn't fair, who cares if it isn't fair? Fair against what? What's fair? So we as kids learn this stuff. But the funny thing is if you can unlearn it, you know, and you can, you remove these mental blocks, dude, and shit just changes. Like, your mindset now was way different than it was 10 years ago.
There's no way I would be here even communicating with you 10 years ago, man. Like,
so that's why I want to get these guys that are listening to understand that, look, first of all, if you don't have systems and processes, you're not getting very big.
Yeah.
Again, we're doing 8 figures. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Without systems and processes, I ain't getting much bigger.
Yeah.
I ain't getting much bigger. And if I do, it's luck. It's you know, fate. It's destiny. It's not because I'm brilliant. It's because I got lucky. Somebody comes in here. If I just gave you this company and you just went and did what you do, you'd have this revenue up 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You'd have the culture better. You would have a legacy business. You'd have a business, and everyone would be like, damn, dude, Austin's smarter than Brad. No, Austin went in and did what he knows to do, which is lay down systems and processes so they can be duplicated and they don't rely on the business owner themselves or technically anybody in it. Because I want to go deeper than just me. I want to go deeper onto where, oh, you mean everything shuts down if Bob quits?
Yeah.
I don't want that either.
Yep.
Like, you know, Bob's valuable, but if Bob, you know, takes a week off, the business still runs. Yep. Those are systems and processes.
Yep. The business should be agnostic. The last thing that we do with an org chart, the last thing that we do is put the names on it. Because, like, that's the least. And, like, I even tell our team, everybody's replaceable because I'm replaceable too. And I want to be replaceable. And I tell everybody on our team, and, like, everybody knows they want to replace themselves because that's how they up-leveled their opportunities. That's how they get free and they're saying, hey, how can I do more? How can I provide more value? Guess what happens when they provide more value? They get to make more money. Everybody wins. So it's creating a culture around that this thing just propels itself.
Not to mention you can document that and then duplicate that.
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing. So they're documenting it and duplicating it, handing it off. One of our clients, let me share a cool little story. One of our clients came to us at 6.5 million. They are now above 100 million. This is 17 months later. something like that. 18 months later, let's call it. 6.5 to above 100 million. How the hell did they do that? Same way that you're going to do it. What they did is with systems and processes. At that time, they were doing the main technician work.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, Austin, we get it. We understand it. Makes sense. I know we need it, but right now the best thing that we can do is this, which is like the money-making activity, the technician work. And they pushed back for a couple weeks. Finally, they said, all right, let's do this. They started to put in systems, processes, training, started to hire, started to remove themselves. 90 days later, they weren't doing the day-to-day decision-making of the technician work. 90 days after that, the people that they put in place weren't even doing it anymore. It was downgraded another level, another pay grade down. Now, they've got virtual assistants in different parts of the world that are doing what others would deem as like a very, very difficult activity. How are they going to do this very difficult technical activity with systems and processes and training? And training is just a form of a system.
Well, dude, listen, when you go into these companies, we could form a partnership because you know what we do here?
You help with training.
Training.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so most businesses, they don't have training systems. They've got training, which is totally different, like a system, like interactive virtual training system.
Yeah.
So when you go in there as a consulting gig and you say, look, here's your systems. Now you're preaching, you got to train. How are they training? So it's an opportunity that when you notice, hey, this company needs a training system, you plug Lightspeed, which is the best in the world, and you'll be convinced of that later.
Cool.
But when you plug that in there, override time.
Yeah.
You make more money from that same existing customer because every one of your customers that need to train all that things, they can do it manually or they can do it efficiently, which one they want to do. So I'm just excited because, dude, I need somebody to come in here and kind of tighten the bolts and maybe even rearrange them because of what you know. You might come in here and go, Brad, shit, you ain't as close to done as you thought. You got a bunch of holes. Yeah. Well, all I want is what you're describing. Yeah. I want a freaking system. I want to make sure that we can deliver in scale and satisfy. In other words, over deliver for everything. I told my guy the other day, because we got a bunch of products or services really that we can do, but a couple of them we do them because they're convenient for customers, but we're not necessarily the best at it. Yeah. And I said, dude, get rid of those. He's like, what are you talking about? We sell those. I'm like, I know, but we're not very good at it. Yeah. And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, dude, if you want to keep them, then we got to be good at it. Yeah. I don't want to do anything we're not good at. If we're not good, we don't do it. Let's just focus on what we do good, and then we can add to that. But right now, I only want to offer things that we're good at. Yeah. Is there a sense to that?
Yeah, yeah, that's what you got to do. So there's things that you're good at, but there's also looking at things that are actually making you money. Because a lot of people don't know their numbers at all. So like when we start with a company, we go deep behind the hood and understand, first of all, that it's a mess. Second of all, that they've been missing out on a huge, huge, huge opportunity. Everybody's sitting on a gold mine. They say, I need this, that, the other. They can easily 4X their business most of the time with not many changes at all. No marketing and anything.
Then why'd you call yourself 2X?
Conservative.
Oh.
All right. We want to make it easy. We want to be tangible. Grant, your friend.
Well, he's 10X and stuff. You're only 2X in it.
Well, I don't know if he's 10X. He's talking about it. So he's great way of thinking.
You mean he's talking about it, but he ain't getting her done?
Well, there's a lot of people out there that understand the 10X methodology, that what we like to focus on is hitting the ground right in front of us. What can we do right now? We focus on execution. Nothing in business happens without execution. Grants and 10X is an amazing way of thinking. I love that mentality. I love the mindset. Most of it. I don't like
but it's not real.
It's not real. I'm like, yeah, it's great. We can get you fired up all day long, but what's the action plan? What are we going to do about it? What's the strategy?
Well, whatever it is, it's 10X.
But part of it is like it's created, it's just been a big part of this hustle culture.
Yeah.
And like we don't want to hustle. I want you to go back and think for the next 2 hours and come out with one solution that's worth 100 hours of work.
How long does it take you to do this process?
Depends at what level. So,
but like if I said I want you to come into Lightspeed.
Well, first of all, we can go
department by department and make sure every department is flowing and working together flawlessly. All the systems are in place, documented, and then obviously we have a training system. We'll create the training to sustain it.
Yep. That whole process would take, probably a month, with some, not full time obviously, but like a total month of like execution of the things that have to happen. But the main thing that we do is we start our high-end clients, and like when we acquire companies and whatnot, with 2 days in person. Sometimes we'll do more than that, but 2 days in person, we can get more done working on the business activities and actually strategically growing it than usually they have in 6 months. And that's what we would start with. We wouldn't even go department by department. We just need to start from a high level. We've got so much that we need to learn from a numbers standpoint, and just like look at the business objectively and assume, and like, people, like, you can have a $25 million company and look at it and be, for the first time, I had no idea that was happening. I had no idea that was happening. This is our freaking, you get pissed off. You go through all the emotions, right? You get pissed off at it at first, and then you start to accept it, and you're like, all right, now, we can clean it up and have a good action plan. And then we can start to make an action plan of like what departments need it and whatnot. But really, it's from a high level, having a whole like fully focused business model that actually is set up to scale and streamlining. So we've got a whole formula. So we've got basically what we need to do as entrepreneurs. There's so many things that are moving, so many things that we could do, so many things that, we're getting pulled in different directions. What we've got to have is the frameworks that help us guide us to like where we should actually focus on. And that's what we do. We've got 2 different frameworks that we use so that we always know where the problem is. So like, we've got so many different things that are going on in our businesses, but I'm never stressed because I always know where the bottleneck is. I always know with those 2 frameworks and knowing our numbers exactly what we're focused on at that particular time. And once you know that, once you know exactly what the problem is and what you're focused on, it's easy.
Yeah, it's like a machine that you know how to run.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, the leads are down. Turn that knob.
Yeah.
Oh, that fixed that. Hey, the sales are down. Turn that knob. Oh, that fixed that, because it's a machine.
It's exactly. And my favorite Steve Jobs quote is something like everything in this room is created by people just like you and I. So it's like this, like, how did people create this thing? Like, it's crazy. When you break it down and touch such a micro step, it's like easy. It's easy as hell. Anybody could create this stuff. Anybody can build $100 million business if they've got the tools. Well, first of all, the mindset, but second of all, the tools, and being able to take it one system at a time. And you got to be able, again, you got to make it easier. And that's our job. And like, we look at it as our duty, and we want to change the way that small businesses are run, because like, entrepreneurs make it too hard on themselves. Every single one of them, every single one of us, myself included. So we're trying to give people the training and the frameworks so that we can make decisions and make things easier. Because I can teach people about systems in 3 hours, everything that they need to know. Show them some examples and change their mindset. And as soon as they see that, it's in their DNA, because they're like, this is stupid if I do anything without systems ever again. So all that, and the tactics and the marketing strategies and sales, all of it's easy. I can give people our systems, but what we've got to do is, again, take it in the right order. We've got to have the mindset first and foremost, and just build a machine. Because once you have a machine, you can optimize. How many people are actually optimizing? They're not. They're just creating. They're scrapping, always trying to scrap. But if you get to the point of optimization, that's when we can do something.
Yeah, you can get a lot of traction out of that.
Yeah, and you can just keep scaling, because now you know your numbers, and you got this machine, and if you know that you can invest $1 and get back 2, what are you going to do? You can do that all day long, as much as you possibly can. But most people don't know what those numbers are. They don't have the business that's working like that. That's an ATM machine, and that's why most don't scale. Only 4% of people get past 7 figures, and 0.4% of businesses get past 8. So you're in the elite. But let's get you to that 9 mark. That's where we're at.
I need to get to the freaking 10 mark, don't I?
Let's go.
$1 billion's 10, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're not 10x in here. Remember.
I know, but I want $1 billion.
Okay, you know how we get there?
Yeah. Well, start with $1 million, go to 2, go to 3, go to 4.
We double. We're always focused on what's our plan to double.
Just doubling.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question: if I read Make Money, or if you read Make Money, Live Wealthy, and then someone said, basically, what's it say? What does it say?
First of all, I would actually recommend people not read that unless they're in the corporate world looking to get started in entrepreneurship. So that was a book that I wrote, man, it feels like 5 years ago at least 4, 5. It was a separate business that I just did as a hobby, turned some podcast interviews that I did into a book, teaching people about money and the mindset. So that was an old book. The new book that's coming out is going to teach people some of this methodology on really how to scale their business and make things easier, specifically how to get from 6 to 7 figures. So if you're doing 500K, you want to get to $1 million, or 200K, even if you're at 7 figures, same methodology. And that's coming out soon. So Make Money, Live Wealthy is about money and the mindset. It's about some of what we talked about so far, but it's okay. I want to be really proud about the next books that I put out there, though, and I will be.
Hey, you got a book coming out here pretty soon, don't you?
Yeah, I do. A couple months.
When?
It's going to be probably November.
So what's that title?
From 6 to 7 figures.
And what's that teach you?
It shows service-based businesses how to scale fast.
So you're going to write a book, teach them how to do it?
Yep.
You know what that book's really going to do?
What's that?
Teach them that they need you. Because again, dude, a lot of these books out there, they'll show people how to do it, but people don't take action because they're fearful. What if I'm doing it wrong? Yep. What if it doesn't work? So they buy a book, they read it, and then they do nothing. And then the smart ones buy a book, they read it, and they realize, damn, it's probably smarter just to get these dudes in here and just have it done.
Dude.
So if I read that book,
yeah.
what would it basically say? Organize your shit?
It would work through the steps to get to 7 figures, just in a simple fashion. Number 1, we've got to work on the mindset. Again, I don't care, even with you. Like if we started working with you, like we would start talking about the mindset. What decisions are you making, and like what kind of decisions are holding us back here? So we got to start with the mindset. Then we work through piece by piece. One thing that you really need to get to 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures is some forms of leverage. The forms of leverage that we talk about are knowing your numbers inside and out. Again, painful thing. Most people don't want to do it. They feel like it's not productive.
When you said, what's my lifetime value? I don't know.
You got to know that.
I know, but it's hard for me. You know why? We rev share with customers. So my lifetime value for you, for example, if you signed up here, it could be, I could make $10 million with you over the next 20 years.
Yeah, you need to know what the average is, though, because we've got to have a number.
Well, the average is just math.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that means like Grant Cardone, who does extreme revenue with me, would pull up the person that's doing less revenue with me, and then the average is a made-up number because it's just a average.
So you know what we do in the audit is look at these segments of people that are at different LTVs, different values to you. And guess what we do? Cut out the ones that are freaking taking time and just not worth it. And those are Grant Cardones, we go find 50 more of them. Right?
So profile your ideal customer, which again is technically part of the system, man. If you're doing it smart, you're definitely profiling your ideal customer.
Yeah, exactly.
I know a lot of people, they don't even know who they're looking for. They just want everybody to buy their shit, and they don't even know who that is.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the scariest things to do, to go a little bit more narrow, more focused, but it works every single time. I was on a podcast with a guy named John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire, dude. And we were talking about this, and he was asking me about examples where it doesn't work. Dude, I can't think of one example where we got more narrowed in on who our ideal customer is that it didn't work out wonders. And I've worked with a lot of businesses, and it's scary to do. And we even did this yesterday or 2 days ago. We went one level deeper into who our specific avatar is. Because I shared with you, we work with 7, even 9-figure companies, but I didn't tell you that until you asked, because again, we're owning the 6 to 7 figure market, and like that's all that we communicate. Sure, we're going to still get a lot of people at 7, a lot of people at 8, a lot of people seeing some of our other results, but we want to focus in and really own one phrase.
So folks, if you're paying attention, depending on when this is released, either his book is already dropped or will be soon. I'd put it in your phone to remind you to hunt this book down. What's it called again?
From 6 to 7 figures.
From 6 to 7 figures. Because I'm telling you guys, if you're listening to me, you obviously know that I bring smart people on and I'm somewhat smarter. You wouldn't keep listening unless you just think I'm funny, which sometimes is the case. But if you give me any credit whatsoever, I'm telling you, if I don't even know what this guy teaches or talks about, I would say exactly the same thing after 20 years of making the mistake of not doing it. So you have to do it. The question is not if you're going to do it, who's going to help you do it? Yep. And if not Austin, who? Yep. Who? Yep. Since you heard him, open your phone, make a little note, November. book. Need it, because I think that book is key. I'm going to look for it, but I want to try to get you engaged before that book comes out.
For sure.
So we'll talk offline about Lightspeed. I mean, this place is like a dream for you, dude. You'll be like, dude, you don't have a system for that? Dude, you didn't do that yet? How are you succeeding is what you're going to say. I'm going to say, fuck if I know.
You're going to hate me at first, bro.
I won't. You know why, though? Because, dude, I keep shit real. I already know I got problems, but they're good problems to have. I know people that they don't have system problems because there's no business. Yeah. So guess what? They don't need a system unless there's demand. So at the end of the day, I'll never be mad at you, bro. I'll freaking love when you're done. You know why? Because I already know this. It took me 20 years to learn it, but I'm telling you, if everybody doesn't figure this out now, they're going to figure it out eventually, or they're going to die tired. Yeah. And they're going to regret their life. They're going to regret missing all those birthdays, all those parties, all those freaking holidays, all those freaking hospital days that you couldn't spend in there with your loved ones, all that freaking warm and fuzzy shit. Or you're just not going to reach your potential, dude. And who wants to die knowing they could have done way more?
Yeah, that's painful.
And you're not going to do it unless you have systems and processes. I just wish that you had some, Mac Daddy package where all I do is sit with you for a day, answer all your questions. I leave and come back in 30 days, and they're there, decided on, documented, and everybody's trained. Yeah. But that's called a company takeover. I'd like to just give you the keys. I give you the keys and say, dude, I'm out. I'll be back in 6 months. You better have an increase in revenue if you're so good. Yeah. Do you have that program?
Yeah, we don't worry about that. It's easy.
So a company can literally get you to come in and consult with them for, long periods of time, turn their shit around.
So we've got a one-on-one coaching program. We've also got a revenue share program, and we've got our own private equity portfolio. So what we're building out is an ecosystem of services that B2B businesses need. Everything from digital agency, sales, staffing, bookkeeping, and accounting. So we've got these services that are our companies that we make the best in class, best in the world at what they do. Them by themselves are profitable, great businesses, right? But when we have this whole collection of companies, any company that we bring in to any of these, we've got the other resources that they need that we just feed. So we've got this beautiful source of all these customers, right? That are in need of all these things. And then what we do is we bring in outside companies with the intention to scale and sell. Because the best wealth,
like Lightspeed.
If you want to sell, we've got a game plan for you, bro. We'll bring it in, scale it as fast as possible. Right now, our intentions are 18 to 36 months. Scale it 18, 36 months, see what we can do.
Yeah. So,
and here's a special thing. With the systems and processes and with the improvements on profit margin and cash flow and having the organization be totally agnostic to who's running what department, including especially the CEO, guess what? Our multiple, our sellability goes up exponentially. So not only do we grow and do we grow the bottom line, but we grow the multiple exponentially. This math adds up pretty nicely, right?
You also strengthen the culture.
Oh, gosh.
Everybody stops struggling and pissed off and going home exhausted because nobody knows exactly who does what, but everyone better get it done, because that's kind of how it is around here. Yeah. In most cases, it's, pretty much, dude, you see a problem, you own it. Yeah. Well, where's the role and the position and the document and the run book to solve any problem that happens? And by the way, we've solved them all before. We just didn't document and organize and train that way. Yeah. So, folks, when you're listening to this, whether it's November or whether it's next week, because I want to drop this quick, you better pay attention, because whether it's Austin or somebody else, you're going to want to freaking create these systems. And I quite frankly didn't know that there was a business that actually went in and specialized in this.
That's why we've got such an opportunity, man. Everybody's focusing on sales and marketing. That, I had an opportunity. This is now my 5th business, and I had an opportunity to create something from scratch. What do I want to do for the next 50 plus years? Something that would just fire me up. And looking at my greatness, looking at the market gap, and just very clear, nobody's focusing on operations. But we can find a bunch of businesses that we can easily scale if we can be great and world class. So we want to be the best in the world at systems, processes, operations, and we're pretty darn good at the other stuff too.
Do you have any online courses or anything? Why?
People don't need information.
They don't need it?
Mm-mm.
What do you mean?
They think that they just need another book, another podcast, another whatever. We want action. So we're going to hold people's hand and give them that action. I could show people our internal playbooks. I could show them all the systems and say, here you go. Here's everything. Here's the keys to the castle. Guess what they do? More of the same shit that they've already been doing. They wouldn't use it. They wouldn't grow. They wouldn't implement it.
Most of them, you're probably right, but some of them would execute.
Yeah, I want high results. Right now, we've got a 93% success rate. I've had digital courses and things before where we've had like world-class results, and that was like maybe 18 to 20% of people would succeed. And that's world-class from the world that I came in, online marketing.
That's good, but again, you can't be held responsible. Like, I bought a treadmill. No one came to see if I was riding it.
Right.
Like, dude, the treadmill works. Get your fat ass on and ride it, and it'll work. But no one came to see if I was riding it. The only reason I'm saying that is because, dude, there's a lot of companies that probably I don't know what you charge, but I'll bet you it's not cheap. I mean, in return of value, it's probably cheap as hell. Yeah. But if you're a struggling company, and for example, 10 grand's hard to come up with up front, and you don't have it, you still should learn this. So for example, if you had an online version that you had the ability to interactively say and ask what you would have done had you been there.
Yeah.
That's all automated, because dude, you're going in and you're saying you have processes.
It's the same stuff.
So if I virtualize you, now maybe it's not as good as that live.
Yeah.
But it's more scalable than your live. Like, if I hired you and you came here, how are you going to work for another company if you're working here?
I've got people that are executing these systems and
processes. I know, but I want you.
My team's pretty damn good too, though.
I know, but eventually, dude, you're it's like Tony Robbins, dude. People want Tony Robbins. They don't want Tony Robbins guy. Yeah. They want Tony Robbins.
You know why?
So Tony Robbins costs more. Well, guess what? Even if everybody could afford Tony Robbins, he can't be everywhere. So if you virtualized those tools and you gave the customer the ability, if they did it, and again, if they don't do it, man, warn them if you feel so bad. Yeah. This might be one of those beliefs you have, because
it really is one of those beliefs.
Because as you're talking, dude, I know of a lot of smaller companies, because I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of smaller companies that I'm thinking, man, these guys need to do it, because I keep telling them the same shit. I just don't know how to do it for them. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you need processes. Yeah. I've never known, hey, you should call this guy, but I'm going to start because that's what they should do. Yeah. But they're not all going to be able to afford you. Yeah. You ain't doing it free, right?
Correct.
So if they have an option where you pop up and you say, now listen, normally I would have came in and had a big long conversation, but here's the things you want to ask yourself. Now get to those answers, and then we'll proceed. Until you get those answers, there's nothing more to talk about. Go think about these, write them down, log back in. Right. Boom, they log back in. Okay, you got your answers? Yes. Okay, good. Now the next step is you need to do this. And if you just mapped it out and made it an offering, for example, and I'll just make up a number, instead of 10,000, and I'm making that up, Bomb Squad, I'm not saying he charges 10 grand or what. I'm making these numbers up. But if let's say your services are 10 grand, where you come in and do the whole hand holding thing, well, maybe this one could be 1,000. Yep. And I buy it for 1,000 because I'll spend 1,000. I can't do 10, but I'll do 1,000. Yep. You just taught me how to do it, and if I actually follow what you told me, would it improve things? Of course it would.
Yeah, it would. But
you're saying it's difficult for me to do without you holding my hand.
Because a couple things. Number one, first of all, we do have to diagnose the business.
Yeah, you got to ask some questions.
We've got to ask a ton of questions to evaluate where the actual gaps are. Because the gaps for you are not the same exact gaps for other businesses.
True.
So, for instance,
that's just an assessment.
Yeah. So we've got to do a personalized assessment.
Okay.
So we've got to understand that. We do have an online course in the training. We give a ton of content for free.
So you do train them with an online
We do train them with online pieces and whatnot.
To prep them.
We don't have like an interactive piece like what you've got with Lightspeed.
But when you help a company, like, do you say, hey, get your sales team to go through this, so when we show up or when we talk to them, they know what we're talking about?
Yep, exactly.
Good.
Yeah, so we know, hey, next week, like, this is going to be the main focus. Check out this video along with this process and template. Start it, and we're going to finish this next week.
Yeah, so when we show up, they're
implemented.
speed.
When they're up to speed,
Yeah.
and by the end of a 60-minute call, now we've got 2 systems that hopefully they're going to use for decades.
Right.
Decades. Like, these are assets, right? We started talking about money a little bit earlier. We got to create assets in every part of your life, especially your business. This is systems and processes done right. If it's a crappy system, it's
what hosting solution are you using for
Kajabi.
those videos?
We use Kajabi.
Kajabi.
Yeah.
How long have you been on that?
Probably like 4 years.
Well, when you leave, there's a signature on my wall because I talked to the founder of Kajabi.
Yeah.
He was here. Huh?
He's a good dude, I know.
Did you see what it said?
Yeah.
So I'll show you one of these days, not today while you're here, but I'll show you one of these days how I can show you an alternative to Kajabi that will make a big difference in your business, but more importantly in their business, because that same system, you kind of break it off for them and leave it behind in a way that now they can customize it and make it their own.
Right.
But because of the interactivity and the real-time tracking, dude, you can I just see, like, if I were you, I would freaking create a unbelievable interactive course that is, hey, you can't afford me, but I still want to help you. There you go. Now, you can't do what I just said on Kajabi. It's not a video. It's a full-blown interactive program with intelligence. You can only build that with Lightspeed, and I'll show you later. But
sweet.
I would create one of those because this is how I closed Tony Robbins. Tony was busting my balls left and right. He was about to kick me out of his house down in Palm Beach. It's beautiful, by the way. And I'm sitting there, and he's about to kick me out again. This is the 3rd time I've tried to close him. He said, dude, I got to go, thanks for coming in, all that. I'm like, okay, Tony, let me ask you a question. How many people were at your last event? He said, I don't know, 10,000. And I said, do you realize there's 7 billion people that were not in that event?
Yeah.
How you help them? And that's what shifted his thinking. Because again, dude, you help a lot of people and you don't need no help. But at the end of the day, there's people that need to know what you know. I'm one of them. If there would have been a course available, by the way, it could have been just an introductory course, almost like systems and processes for dummies. And I go through it, I would be in better shape than I am right now. And no, it would not have equated the high success rate. And yes, you got to live with the risk that, hey, someone's going to buy this and not do it, because that happens a lot. I know, because we have millions of people using Lightspeed for Grant Cardone, Damon John, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, John Maxwell, franchises, brands. And I see all the data. And dude, it makes millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars per month selling the courses, but the people that actually take the courses are far less. So it means we sell courses to people that don't ever take them. And I don't say we, I mean my clients. Like you, if you came on Lightspeed, you're gonna sell the course to 1,000 businesses that never use it. And sometimes that holds people back. Like, well, then it has to be live. No, I would disagree. There should be a alternative, just with disclaimers. Bro, look, it ain't gonna help you as well as me showing up, but guess what? There you go. And you ever seen that commercial? If you don't get help from us, get help somewhere.
No.
It was an addiction commercial a long time ago. Used to run on TV where they're like, come to our rehab facilities and all this, and then at the end their closing line was, in other words, even if you don't get help from us, get help somewhere. Because you need the help. And that's all I'm saying. Dude, if you have nothing online and they can't afford you, or have never, you're not scalable to get to everyone that needs you, there should be something online. I'll partner with you on. I got studios. I'll make it for you, show you how to make it, and I'll even go sell it because I have what's called the skill shop. So I got a lot of businesses using Lightspeed, a lot of them.
All right, here's what we're gonna do.
And they need your content. And now, if they can afford you, great. Like, they're already going to call you. You're going to get people in the bomb squad right now calling you.
If we give them 2 things to do, they're going to be able to afford us. Like, if people can't afford us at our one-on-one 90-day program, they're not resourceful. They're not a true entrepreneur.
Well, dude, me and you know that, but guess what? I'll bomb that because that's the truth. That is the actual truth. But isn't there an audit or something that they can take to get them at least going in the right direction?
Man, the audit's like priceless, man. Dude, I would have killed for this.
So what's the audit?
So that's the first step that we do. Again, before we tell people,
Well, let's make them an offer. Let's give the Bomb Squad some way to get a little bit of help from you.
All right, let's do it.
Maybe they want an audit.
Okay,
is that
so
the first entry into
this
it?
is the first step that we can do, and this is personalized. Like
Okay.
it's not like some cookie cutter. Like here you go. It's not some ebook. It's like one-on-one. We spend hours on this because we really want to show you the path. Because a lot of people will be like, hey, like this looks like a lot. What's the next level, right? So we are losing money on the front end to give people a lot of value. Some people are going to say, ask us what's next. But we do this as the first step with any of our clients, even, you know, our portfolio clients or whatever. So we offer this for $9.97. But let's do it for the Bomb Squad. Let's do something special. We've never offered this before. But let's do $47 for the Bomb Squad. If you go to scale2x.com/Bomb Squad, I'm going to make sure that we got that link up. We don't have it live yet. We don't have that price point. And I haven't done this for anybody. I promise you that we'll do it for $47. So you just save $950 there.
Dude, and not only that, but I hope you have systems, because you might get a lot of people taking advantage of this.
If somebody's listening to this and they have a business and they don't take advantage of it,
They're
can't
stupid.
help them. We can't help them.
Yeah. Yeah. Folks, again, I mean, $47 from $1,000 off. And again, we didn't plan this.
Yeah.
Go to scale2x.com/Bomb Squad.
Yep.
And there'll be some sort of sign up or a registration.
And we guarantee that will show you if you have it. You got to be above 10K per month to qualify for this guarantee, at least.
10K a month in what? Revenue?
Yeah, in revenue. Yeah, which baseline.
Everybody is.
Yeah, hopefully. But we guarantee that will show you very easy levers that you can pull. That'll mean at least an additional $25,000. So I know that's low for some businesses. It's going to be many millions of dollars, but we do put that guarantee in place that we pay people twice their money back, and like nobody, like literally ever, has taken advantage of that.
Yeah, and unless some company happens to have someone with the knowledge of yours on staff, and they, you know, because there's some companies that are just like, you know, they're extremely efficient. Maybe you can't help them. Maybe they've already got everything in tidy order. But I know a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of businesses, and I would say 93% are in disarray. Yeah. The owners are freaking pulling their hair out.
Yeah.
They're constantly dealing with fires. They're turning gray. They're wrinkling before people's eyes. Their bank accounts ain't getting any fatter. And if they are, it doesn't matter. Yeah. They're not using it. Yeah. So, dude,
man, you're nicer than I.
Well, again, I appreciate giving them the opportunity. $47 for $1,000 audit.
Yeah.
And what's the audit do?
So the audit shows them exactly what's holding the business back, what order they need to focus on things, the key levers that they can pull to grow, how they can get free from the weeds. Like, we give people this.
You're telling them, here you go.
It's their roadmap.
Yeah. And if they want to try to do it themselves, go ahead. If they want to indulge in your services, they would upgrade from there.
Exactly.
Dude, beautiful. Man, Austin, I want to get you back one of these days. Next time you're in town, you're probably going to end up freaking on the cover of Forbes as like the business whisperer.
I want to be number one for millennials in the world.
Well, dude, I got a lot of businesses using Lightspeed, and if you had a course or at least an introductory course or something, dude, I could put it in the skill shop and I could start promoting it to thousands of businesses. Because, dude, I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are out there doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
And the only reason is because there's no one there to show them.
Yep.
So I'm going to start getting you some exposure regardless. Bomb Squad, listen, share this podcast out with anybody that you know that's running a business. This is a great episode for anybody running a business, thinking of running a business, big or small. If you have headaches, if you think if you left your business will not do as well, well, then this is something you need. I just saved you a G.
Yep.
So go spend $47 and get an audit. If you don't, bro, then quit bitching about the situations you're in and freaking unsubscribe, dude. I can't help you anymore. Dude, thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Thanks,
and promise you'll be back.
Absolutely.
Folks, go out and share and rate this podcast. Until next time, keep it real.